talking about a coaching call, a QnA, just coaching call that I had with some of my students. Just wanted to record some of this stuff and give you some free game. This was probably a couple of weeks ago, but I'm just now getting it out. So thank you guys for being patient. Thank you guys for sticking with me. So let's jump right into the coaching call and drop some gems. Hope you enjoy it. You can show them the contract and what you're buying it for. But if you show them a contract, you already got an assignment, right? So on an assignment, you disclose exactly how much you're making. So when we talk about assignment fee, we're actually saying that, hey, this assignment is I'm signing you this property for $17,000 at $73,000. Like that's my assignment fee is going to be 17 grand, and you're going to be buying it all in for 73. Right, so they already know you're making 17 grand. So when they show the contract, the price really doesn't matter because they already agreed to the price. So if they see what you're making, yeah, they can come back and renegotiate. But essentially, those are the buyers we just X out and don't do business with. If they're buying based on what I'm making, that's not somebody I want to do business with. So once you do assignment, that's really the only time you're going to show them the fee. But like I said, they're going to already know based on your assignment fee and if they sign the assignment fee. Now, majority of the buyers, what they want to know is that it's a legitimate contract and they want to see special provisions. So if they're taking over a contract that's in place, they want to know exactly what's on that contract and what they got to hold up. So for instance, we had one where we was promising the seller that we'll actually help them move, right? So once I assigned that property, I had to go in there and say, instead of saying buyer will help seller move, I had to go in there and say Jordan will help seller move, because now that's my part of the agreement that I agreed to. The buyer is only agreeing to buy it at this price, so they wanted to take that lingo out of there. So we had to do amendment on that. So 9 times out of 10, majority of them just want to see if they assign it. They just want to know that what they're doing is a quick close, all cash, right? They just want to know the terms that they can buy the property on. So they're not necessarily worrying about what I'm making. 9 times out of 10, they're not. I've had some people do that. Like the one I hit for 51,000. I was originally supposed to make 55,000 on the deal, but they came back and renegotiated. And I knew the only reason they renegotiated was because of my assignment fee. But 55, 51. Hey, it didn't matter. Let's go ahead and get this thing closed. Closed in a timely manner. I'm good. So that's kind of how that went. But yeah, most people don't worry about it. But if you are concerned about that, just go ahead and do a double close. Do a double closing with the title company. Some title companies will do a double close where they use the back end funds, the buyer funds, to close the front side, the deal between you and the seller. They use the back end funds to close that deal. And then some people will actually want you to bring some money to the table from a transaction fee. So transitional funding, I believe that's what they call it. But essentially all that is they only do A to B and then B to C closings. So you essentially got to buy the house with your money or with some kind of money. Then you pay some kind of fee on that money, and then they'll do the next closing the same day, but they'll do it from you to the end buyer. So essentially you do technically own that property at least for a couple hours. Whereas a double close, technically you really don't, because you never put the money out or put the money up for it.
So can you ask for a double close? That sounds like that's preferable.
You can definitely ask for a double close for sure. But buyers typically take that in consideration as well, because on double closes, we always have the end buyer pay for the double close. So the assignment fee, the closing gets a little bit more expensive. So they knock a little bit off your assignment fee. But if you're making 55,000 or even 30,000, 20,000, it don't have to be that big. But if you're making a decent fee on it, yeah, you can go ahead and ask for the double close. That way you know that nobody's going to see it. Yeah. Sometimes you know it when you get that good deal. Yeah, sometimes.
When you're doing like a virtual deal, Jordan, do you use like what's the title company? Boston Title, is that the name of them?
The one I sent you?
No, not the one for Tyler. I know those guys, but they're quoting like 21 days out, Jordan. That's too long.
Yeah.
They're saying they're so backed up.
Yeah, they're always backed up in time.
Here in Tyler would be fine, but I just want to make sure I've got one that can do a quick close if I have to virtually. I mean,
yeah, for sure. So you can still use some title companies here in Dallas and Houston, wherever you want to be. But typically when you go out of county, it's still kind of hard to do a quick close because now they're relying on Smith County to get them the data. So say for instance, if you was in Dallas, Houston, Austin, San Antonio, any one of those big ones, I don't care where you're at, like a Dallas company can go in Houston and get that data pretty quick in the same way with any of those big metropolitan areas. But typically when you're in a small area like Smith County, it's gonna still be around the same thing just because you kind of their hands are tied. They can only move as fast as the county that they're getting the data and information from can get it to them. So it's still 10 days, if not 2 weeks.
all right, so I should still maybe try Landmark or some of the local guys.
So are you looking to fix and flip it, or what are you looking to do?
No, it's wholesale.
You're looking to wholesale. Out in Tyler?
I need to try.
Okay. I didn't know if you had it under contract or not. So you don't have a deal under contract, or you do?
Not yet.
Okay, not yet. Okay, so Landmark, if I'm not mistaken, and maybe they can talk to you. I don't think Landmark do closing. I think they only do double close or maybe A to B to B to C, where you got to bring the transactional fund in and then they'll close it. So you have to draw up 2 trick contracts. If you want to do a straight out assignment, I would definitely go with somebody out of town that's familiar with it. That way it's just a smoother process. You draw up the assignment and they take care of everything, and it's one close, and everybody show up, and we can get a notary out to the seller with no problem as well.
Exactly. Yeah, I know a notary that I could use, so that's what I was asking. I don't think I want to use anybody local.
Gotcha.
I don't even know if I want to give them a heads up, to be honest with you. This is a small town when you get to talking about it, really.
100%. Sub-2 transactions, I can't even close them in Tyler because nobody do them. They do loan assumptions, but they don't do subject to transactions. So it's a little bit different, yeah.
Who do you use there in Dallas? Who can do a quick wholesale deal?
I could probably text you that. If you could reach out to me. They've changed their name so many times, and quite honest with you, I just know Jackie. I just got them on the first, Jackie and Brittany. That's who I use, but I forgot what business they're with now. But I still got their cell phone. That's who I use on all my deals. They close all of them for me. So I'll just text you over their contact. I'm pretty sure she texted me at some point in time, but I don't know exactly what that information is.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. We'll get it over to you though.
Thanks.
No problem. It's a couple of companies out here though. I know they used to be called Paradise. Stewart Title is typically a good one. It's investor friendly. Chicago Title is typically investor friendly. Any Fidelity National Title Company is typically a pretty good title company. So those are all just big names that we should be able to find in any area that we can use for sure.
Okay.
But you can call around too. To be honest, I found my title company from using other wholesalers and seeing their process and seeing how streamlined it was. And I was like, you know what? I would love to have somebody like that on my side. So that's how I cultivated the relationship and been rocking and rolling ever since.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's a very specific question, but I'm just curious how this works. In one of the videos, I saw them talking about if you do sub-2 financing, and then when it comes time to do insurance on the property, having to have the original owner's name in the insurance policy as another payee. And I'm just wondering how you protect yourself in that instance, if you have to make a claim on the insurance, and kind of how that works.
So it's funny you say this because I've definitely lost money on my insurance claim, not doing it the right way. But you need to get a power of attorney from the person that you're actually buying the house from. That way, when the insurance check comes in, you have the power to actually sign it. But the first time, the homeowner ran off with the check because it was in his name, and the insurance was there as well. So the second time, we just had to do things our way and get it done. But Yeah, you need a power of attorney when you get ready to close at a property, and you need to get with the title company. They'll draw one up for you. Obviously the fee will be to you, you'll pay for it, but essentially it's very, very important, because if their name is on that check, they have rights to it, and majority of them are going to give you a hard time if you need them to sign for that $10,000 for that house and their name is on that check. They're going to want a piece of that money, typically. So the easiest way is just get a power of attorney. That'll save you a lot of headaches.
Gotcha, thank you.
No problem, mate. That's a good question, Chelsea. I like it. Amy, I know you had another question. Or anybody else had another question?
Do we just jump in here and ask questions?
Definitely, definitely. We'd love to have you.
Okay, well, I have a couple.
Okay.
For your personal advertising, or for your advertising, how personal should it be? Like, I've seen a billboard with her face on it. Do you want to get that personal, or do you want to leave it kind of generic, or what works best there?
I believe the person is as personal as you can possibly be. As person, even if you're spending money from PPC, pay per click, right? Google Ads. I think the more personal you are, the better you are, because 9 times out of 10, our sellers are people just like we are, and they're looking for somebody that just has some empathy to be able to go over there and care for them and show that they really care about them, not only just the house or buying the house, but a lot of 9 times out of 10, it's people that's going through some things, some life issues. And that's really what trumps them selling it with a realtor. They need to sell it now because some things are going on and they need the money, or they need to get out of the situation. So I would say as personal as you can possibly get it. Trust me, I've done so much marketing, spent a lot of money on it. And when you can add a face, you can add a dog, and you can add a husband, wife, whatever the case may be, have the whole family there, it reminds them of them, right? If you got the same dog, that might be the correlation of them actually going with you. Or if you just have a dog, I'm a dog lover too, let me just call you, right? So that's typically what I would say is the more personal you is, better off. Handwritten letters work better than professional letters. I've literally dropped off at least 1,000 professional postcards, right, from just door knocking, and literally get no call back. Get a lot of complaints when I get called back, but no deals, right? And then when I just go do a sticky note, hey, call Jordan, stop foreclosure, then put my cell phone number, or just make postcards and write it with a Sharpie, literally $50,000, right? So it's just like, what's going on? The only difference is the personal side of it. The personal side of it get calls back, then they feel like they can relate to you. They feel like you can help them out. So I would definitely go that route. I can't hear you. Is it just me?
I don't know, let me see if I can turn this up if it helps.
I can hear you now. It just seemed like for that one instance.
Kelton had said multiple offers. So if you're going in and negotiating with someone, do you start with an offer, and then if they kind of balk at that one, then you give them another one, or do you just lay it all out on the table? We always go with the home run first, right? We try to knock it out the park first. And it's like their first pitch, right? 3 and you're out. It's the same way. You always, when the count is low, right? You're trying to, I think that's how they say it, count is low. I don't know how they say it. I'm not a baseball guy. But I know on that first pitch, you got a little leeway. You're trying to knock it out the park. Then when you're up to 2 strikes, then you're trying to come up with your best stuff. So from my perspective, I would take it that same way in real estate. We always offer at the 70% minus repairs, whatever we can do from a cash perspective. And then once we figure out that's not the option, we can start talking about some other options from owner finance or sub 2. But I always go with the cash offer first. That because when you go cash, you always got more extra strategies than anything else. There's always more extra strategies. We can always buy it and take it down. As long as we got that discount, it's going to be successful. When you start messing with sub 2 and owner finance, it's more than buy and hold. Some deals are. Majority of them are buy and hold. So I always go with the cash deal. We can turn a cash deal into a buy and hold. So yeah. Marketing questions.
You say what? I'm sorry?
I have another marketing question.
Let's ask. I like it.
Okay, I have a website, So can I make the real estate websites, but have them all default to that one? Because everybody says, well, you can have all these websites.
Should you have
like different counties or whatever. So can and somewhere it said don't go to GoDaddy. Well, I've already done that. So I have a website at GoDaddy.
Nothing wrong with GoDaddy, me too.
I had one for another business, so I just started it for the real estate investing. So
Gotcha.
But you talked about the website converter and all that. Is that something I can get through that, or how does that work?
So I would definitely go to Investor Carrot and get a site through them. Now you already got your domain through GoDaddy, which shouldn't be a problem. But Investor Carrot allow you, they allow you to have sites in 10 different cities, if I'm not mistaken. And obviously, the bigger profile you got, you can obviously go in there and maneuver that. But just to start, right? 10 different cities. So say for instance, where are you located? I can't hear you.
Land Rose.
Land Rose.
Glen Rose, south of Dallas, Fort Worth.
Okay. So literally in Glen Rose, you can have all those places. I'm guessing it's in Ellis County, maybe.
North of there.
Okay. So you're pretty close. Okay, so you can literally have all those cities right there that you're around everywhere. Say if you want to stay just south of Dallas Fort Worth, you can have all those cities right there, and you can have websites to every one of them. To where it's Dallas, Fort Worth, Glen Rose, DeSoto, Duncanville, everything down below Burleson, all that area. If you want to stay south, obviously, if you want to go a little bit bigger, you can go to some of those main cities. But Investor Carrot does a great job of integrating all those websites, kind of making them interchangeable to where they have the city name, but they are indeed almost like the same exact platform. The only thing is switching is Sell My House, Glen Rose. And now on their website is just pulling up nothing but Glen Rose. But once you get to the bottom of the website, you will see where it has Glen Rose, Dallas, Fort Worth, all these different areas just in DFW. So it'll allow you to go from that perspective. So yeah, I would go through Investor Carrot because they kind of got it built out for you to do exactly what you're looking to do from that perspective. People are already doing it, so I would just kind of mimic and copy and cheat there. That way you can start driving traffic to your website. Are you a SEO, Google, PPC type of person? You like that type of traffic? You're not?
I'm learning.
You learning? Okay. It's a good way to do marketing. Typically, if you can put some money in SEO or PPC, pay per click, you can probably land you a deal and close one typically in about 2 to 3 weeks. Whereas another form of marketing like cold calling, you might have to get 100 leads to get a deal. Right? I'm just being realistic. It's cheap, but you might have to get 100 leads to get a deal. Same thing with text messages, another 100 leads. Same thing with RVMs, another 100 leads. So you really got to go at it really hard, make a lot of phone calls, talk to a lot of people. So whereas PPC, you might be able to go in there and get 10, 15 leads and you end up with a deal. So you don't have to talk to as many people and still make some decent money. Same way with Facebook as well.
The last one I have for now, I've been looking at a piece of property, but it's 5 acres, and I can't find any comps that are comps. The comps that are coming up are in high-end gated communities, and I can't find any. There's one comp within like 5 or 10 miles. I don't remember how far out I went, but.
I would say just go out as far as you possibly can to find that comp. It's pretty tough, but whenever we get that unicorn, man, I hate unicorns, but whenever we get unicorns, we just got to go out until we find something that's comparable. And then if you're in doubt, just discount it 10%, right? You can never buy a bad deal if you got an extra discount on it, right? But yeah, I would just go try to figure out, go 5-10 miles and see if I can find that comp. But those unicorns, I'm gonna be honest with you, are tough. That right there is a unicorn. There's not a lot of properties with 5 acres. Is it just 5 acres? Is it 5 acres in a house, or is it just 5 acres?
5 acres in a house.
Yeah. When you get to 5 acres in a house, typically the house be 900 square foot. The other house be 2,500, and it's like, man, yeah, they got the same land, but now the house is different. So I would definitely look at that and figure out anything you can find. I would go to Zillow on Zillow, you can kind of look at what's sold, and you can look through that tab and then put 5 acres or more. And then you can see what's for sale. So you can see what's sold, what's for sale, and kind of get just a guesstimate of around the two and just put both of them together. And like I said, if there's any doubt, discount it by 10% and you should be okay. But I know if you go to sold, or at least what's on the market, you're gonna kind of know what's actually selling and what's not selling. And at what price it is.
Out there. There's lots out there, but there's nothing for sale or sold. Everybody's camping on it.
Yeah, so at that price, we probably go a heavier discount, maybe at 80%, just based on what that is, and start that off as ARV. Because something for sale is just something for sale. I don't mean that's what it's going to sell for. Yeah.
Not out there.
I gotcha. I gotcha. Anybody else got any other questions?
I have a question about owner financing. You mentioned that a minute ago, and I don't feel like there was a lot of that talked about in our challenge group. So how do you decide what your payments to the owner are? Is there a typical scenario, like interest rate that's normally done? I know it's all negotiable, but like, what does that typically look like as far as time period and interest and things like that when you're doing owner financing?
Owner finance, in my experience, has always been something that's swayed in my favor, right? I want it in my favor by all means. The reason why I say that is because 9 times out of 10, we give the owner their price on my terms, right? So say we need to buy for 70, he's stuck at 100 or she's stuck at 100 and we can't get past this 100 number. Well, now it's okay, I'll give you the 100, but it's over a course of 20 years at a 2% interest rate, and this is what it looks like monthly payments. Right, so that's kind of where we start off. Obviously, if the owner is a little bit savvy, say a landlord, they're going to be familiar with the owner finance terms and what to do and how to do it. But essentially, they want more aggressive interest rate. Some of them just want out. I've literally had investors that bought 10, 12, 20 units at a time on an owner finance, 3.5% down like a FHA mortgage on a 10-year note, paying $2,000 a month, right? So I've literally seen some crazy things like that. So whenever I offer it, because I'm coming to them at their price, I want it to be on my terms, and I want it to be terms that's friendly for me and that allow me to either, I wouldn't say fix and flip it, because you know this is a buy and hold strategy. It's going to be more of terms that's just flexible for me. Or we can even do a 30-year note. It won't be fixed, but a 30-year with maybe a 10-year arm, right? Adjustable that way, or a 10-year balloon. That way we do it on the 30-year scale. That way the payments are good for me. But in 10 years, my plan is to get out of the property and owner finance. Or sell it at that point, or refinance, whatever the case may be. But my plan is to get out of the property at that point. Hey, keep winning.